the more fundamental question that needs to come is, when even Sir Syed Ahmad or even Dr. Ambedkar talked of this as a clash of civilizations. What is the Indic worldview? In the Indian faith systems, there are different schools of philosophy, right? In India, Bharat, that, you have the Astic traditions or the orthodox, and the Nastic traditions, the heterodox. But on the other side, you have largely the Abrahamic faiths, which say there is only one, my way or the highway. If you do not believe in my understanding of what the ultimate supreme reality is, then you are a non-believer, you are called names, and there are also, prescribed, actions that can legitimately be taken against the non-believer, the pagans, the kafirs, all these people, to kill them, to destroy their places of worship, to destroy their centers of learning, to molest, rape their women. It's all considered as part of religious sanction, right? And to convert them either by force or allurements or anything is par for the course. So when these two kind of these are different worldviews as to how you see the universe and the answers to the universe, who is the supreme reality. You are not the knower, you are the seeker. And that's why in our Indian philosophy it was neti neti. This is not the end. There is further scope for finding out. And everybody is a sadhak, everybody is a seeker. Compare that to say there is only one God sitting in a high sky. He's controlling, he's monitoring every action of yours. If you don't believe in him, he's going to throw a thunderbolt at you. You're going to be rotting in hellfire. You'll be put in a cauldron of oil and burnt. And these type of things are a different worldview. So when these two clash, which is what I think all these people called as a clash of civilizations, clash of ideas, because all religions are eventually a movement of ideas. Their founders or the way it developed is a lifestyle, it's an idea. These are very two different worldviews which collided, and in different parts of the world, the other worldview, the Greek, the Roman, all these other, traditions completely got eliminated. Whereas India is probably the only tradition which still survives. Our faith systems, our, languages, our rituals, traditions continue after so many centuries of, trying to annihilate them. And so when we look at even these traditions and rituals and all of that, we just dismiss them away as mumbo jumbo, superstition and this and that. As a historian, I look at them also as a very archival, treasure which we have inherited. The same thing would have been done 5,000, 6,000 years ago by our ancestors, which we are also continuing to do. And how did these survive? Through word of mouth, despite the destruction of our centers of learning. All our universities, whether it was Nalanda, Takshashila, Vikramshila, all these universities were burnt and torn down. When Bakhtiyar Khilji, destroyed Nalanda, it is said that the place burnt for 6 months. That was the amount of manuscripts and knowledge that was there. But despite all of that, today our knowledge systems, whatever it is, our philosophy, our knowledge systems, yoga, Ayurveda, all these are still surviving. So what is that strength of this landmass, this bhubhag, which even Iqbal, I think in his this thing, kuch to hai ki hasti mitti nahi hamari, he said. What is that kuch? Is it tangible? Is it only physical prowess, like I document in Brave Hearts of Bharat? Or is there a civilizational strength which we inherit? And can that become a source of strength for the future that, we have managed to protect and preserve despite all odds? And how do you then also deal with those forces and ideologies which do not believe in your egalitarian Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the whole world is one family and all of that, vis-a-vis people who say ours is a club. It's if you don't have membership to this club, you will be punished. You will sit out of the class. So how do you deal with that? And I think whether it was a partition of the country also, or the continuing conflicts we are seeing, not only in India but in different parts of the world, is a manifestation of this very, clash. Unless those groups, those faiths and communities try to reform and say that those are, edicts and verses and traditions of the 8th century, 9th century, some of it is not relevant today, at least in this country, they will not be accepted. Unless that happens, the friction and clashes are inevitable. And one needs to understand that. And I think Dr. Ambedkar very clearly understood it in his book Pakistan and Thoughts on Partition. He also said the same. He said Hindus and Muslims cannot live together in this country. So when there is partition, there needs to be a complete transfer of populations. Everybody goes to one side. It's like two brothers in a house fighting. So if the younger brother wants to separate property division, let him take and go away and not have anything to do with this. And so that was what he had advocated, because that's probably he understood this problem very clearly, that how this was actually a very deep inbuilt, fallacies between the two worldviews of how we look at human beings itself, how we look at the universe, how we look at God, creation, and everything that flows from it.
But can't it happen that two people with different ideologies can live in harmony?
We can.
Because now it's happening in few places, few areas, few communities.
No, we can and we should. But the onus of that is on whom? The onus of that is not on the person always. And that was again the Gandhian problem. The onus on that is not on the person who already says Ekam Sat Vipra Bahudha Vadanti, who already believes that there are many paths to that truth. If we have so many different Devis and Devtas, adding one more, Allah or Jesus or anybody is not a big deal. We would allow everything to pass by. The onus of that harmony is on those who speak of exclusivist clubs, who speak that we are the gospel truth. Where is the need to convert? Where is the need to, if someone is doing it out of conviction, perfectly fine. But mass conversions, obviously that's not through any kind of, conviction. It is allurement. Of course, people would attribute it to caste oppressions that for centuries, which is a reality which needs to be accepted, that for centuries there was also that perverse aspect of this society where all this knowledge, all this high philosophy which I just narrated was kept away from a large section of the people. But multiple waves that happened in Indian society, Hindu society particularly, constantly stood for reforms on this front.